Eye on South Asia is brought to you by Wells Fargo. Wells Fargo, together we'll go far.
Welcome back to Eye on South Asia. Sanjeev, right before we left for the break, we were going to talk about superbugs. Now, this is...
Well, we actually wanted our viewers to have a little time before we talk about this story because, it's going to be a while for them to take a break and then indulge in something, their favorite food or so.
Right, I know. It's going to be quite a bit to digest.
Right.
So, so in India, what is happening is we have like these conditions of poor hygiene, right? In not only just on the streets and in public sectors, but also in the hospitals. They say that if you want to get sick, just go to a hospital in India. And what happened recently with several cases is that some patients who were getting treated for anything from an accident to cancer treatment, they are having these mutant germs that are resistant to antibiotics.
That's afterwards surgery. Sometimes surgery actually goes successful, but then, what gets into their body that they only find out later on.
Right.
Which we call superbugs.
Right. And the unfortunate thing here is that while we think there is progress being made with India's, $12.4 billion pharmaceutical industry, they manufacture about 1/3 of the world's antibiotics, right? And you have people taking them so liberally, right? At the same time, you would think that, these are curing illnesses and germs and that sort of thing, but they're just mutating, apparently, according to scientists, and turning into this pool of resistant germs, and really just taking even regular illnesses to a whole new level, where they can't be treated.
Sure. And actually, there isn't anything you could take with you traveling that would be useful against these superbugs because you never know where you're going to get these superbugs. I mean, there is a water, there is a drainage, there is a sewer system. It's so polluted over there and not so clean. So you never know where you're going to get these superbugs from within your body. Right. And once you get them in your body, they're hard to kill. And just like you said, the antibiotics, can work sometimes. It
can worsen it sometimes.
Yeah, exactly.
And what they are calling this is the NDM1, and that's short for New Delhi Metallo-beta lactamase 1. It's in reference to a city where I guess all this stuff started.
Possibly.
And they say that cancer patients are in some ways more likely to develop a lot of these superbugs and that sort of thing. Superbugs is really not a very scientific term, and it seems like they don't have much information on it, but just the fact that India's sanitation situation is such a tragedy, with so many germs and that sort of thing in public. It's just a nightmare.
But then,
let's
make it clear this is not happening only in India, but actually it has gone beyond India. According to the latest report, as many as 40 nations are threatening, this issue. And those countries include Canada, France, Italy, Kosovo, and South Africa. So this is really becoming a serious issue.
Right.
For medical tourism.
Exactly. For medical tourism, because, so many people come to India nowadays to get their, lower cost treatment and stuff like that.
And a simple cut, a simple wound, going into hospital for a treatment, you never know what you're going to bring it with you. Right.
At the same time, it is interesting that, they're warning of this big coming of a wave of disease. I don't know if there's some sort of new pharmaceutical development that they are perhaps trying to market in light of this.
I think
similar to the swine flu and that sort of thing.
I think WHO, World Health Organization, would have to look into this to find a solution to it.
Yeah, exactly. So, I guess just the advice would be careful if you're traveling to India.
How much more can you be careful?
Yeah.
You know? So,
especially when you don't know
Right.
where it's coming from and how it attacks you.
but still be careful.
Yeah, be careful anyway.
Exactly.
All right. So moving on to back to the U.S.
Local
and
story here.
local story
Right.
right here in New Jersey.
We have talked about this story numerous times in
We
our
have,
shows and
and
past shows.
it seems to have erupted and just continuing to erupt in light of Dharun Ravi's verdict.
Right.
Okay, so outside the courthouse on May 14th, we had just this big demonstration with several hundred Indian Americans coming together and saying, you know, holding up signs, free Dharun Ravi, we want justice. They want to overturn this verdict so that he won't have to serve jail time.
Exactly.
And he's going to possibly be deported to India as well.
Well, we'll find out that on May 21st, because
Right.
May 21st is his sentencing day. And what you just mentioned, outside courthouse, State House, that's in Trenton, New Jersey. And in case if you have totally missed out on this story, Dharun Ravi was a Rutgers University student, and he was convicted of bias intimidation for spying on his gay roommate Tyler Clementi, who actually later on committed suicide. So what Dharun Ravi was doing was a kind of stupid and a
Kind of a childish prank,
exactly,
right.
and it turned into be a tragedy rather, because Tyler Clementi took it so personally and he committed suicide.
Right.
Now his sentencing, Dharun Ravi's sentencing is on May 21st, where he could face up to 10 years in prison and a possible deportation to India, because that's where he was born.
Exactly. And having refused the plea bargain, which would have just given him community service requirement.
See, here's the thing.
He's landed up in this
community did not
situation.
come out to support Dharun Ravi before his sentencing. Community knew this had happened because news spread all over the world, and everyone knew. Even CNN had covered this story many times. But community did not get together wholeheartedly like they are doing it now in support of Dharun Ravi, because I think community may have thought that he would walk away free, everything will be okay.
Yeah.
But then when he, a jury convicted him for this thing, and the maximum sentence is 10 years and possible deportation, ever since then community is coming out. They're holding prayer meetings and vigilance and everything in different places in New Jersey, try to get the message across a state courthouse as well as Middlesex County prosecutor to not convict him for 10 years.
Right. And in a sense, because they hadn't acted sooner, they're thinking of it in terms of a wake-up call. Like, we didn't expect such a harsh verdict in this case. So they, some Indian Americans have said, we're a passive community, but we're not stupid. We really want to stand up in this case. I don't know how much all this demonstrating is going to have an impact or not.
We'll find out that next week on Monday, May 21st.
And we'll definitely cover that.
Exactly,
as well.
exactly. Their point is that, listen, one life is already lost.
Yes.
Tyler Clementi committed suicide. Let's not punish the other life so badly that life would be lost also. So
yes.
just minor punishment.
Another thing that was brought up was that these laws, these hate crime laws, were fought for the Indian community as well, and now they're being used against an Indian American to fight this case for,
So tables have turned. Situation, is different now. So we'll see what happens, and the viewers will definitely let you know next week what the verdict is.
Absolutely. All right. So moving on to some positive news here. The AIF, the American India Foundation, has raised over $1.3 million at its annual Spring Awards Gala in the Sheraton, New York, just last
recently,
week.
Right.
Yeah. And so we had Chanda Kochar, the managing director and CEO of ICICI Bank of India, and also John Vaymayer, chairman and CEO of KPMG, who attended. And of course, there were speeches made by President Bill Clinton, who serves as the honorary chair of this organization.
Well, President Bill Clinton has been part of AIF ever since its beginning. He's the co-founder of the American India Foundation.
Right. And you also had fellow AIF spokespeople to talk about how the program has changed their lives, and really they just want to create a community of socially conscious global citizens.
And as of this year, I think they have renamed its service corps to William J. Clinton Fellowship for Service in India.
Right.
Because Clinton, I think Clinton has that soft corner for India. He loves India and he wants to do something for India.
Right. And the AIF has had a great history in terms of fundraising. Since 2001, when they started, they've raised over $700 million to support their programs in education and that sort of thing. So that's a great step forward for them.
Sure.
And we congratulate that organization. On the same note of accolades, we have 8 Indian Americans. They're receiving the 2012 Ellis Island medal.
This has become steady lately. Since last few years, there have been at least 4, 5, 6, 8, 10 Indians receiving this, Ellis Island Medal of Honor.
Right. And on this list, we have Peter Beda, Ravi Shankar Bupalur, Dr. Sanjeev Chopra, Dr. Leena Doshi, Dr. Surender Jain, Hasu Shah, Rajendra Singh, and Dr. John P. Thomas.
Anyone that you know out of that?
What's that?
Anyone that you know out of that?
I know a lot of doctors, but they're not on that list. So
Maybe next time.
year.
Maybe next time.
When the list grows,
That's right.
we'll definitely expect.
Well, second week of May, this ceremony takes place, and this basically Ellis Island Medal of Honor, is given to a person who is an immigrant to this country and has done exceptionally well for its community and as well as in his or her own field of profession.
Right, and. So this is a great honor, and we have more than 100 immigrants that were honored in this. So congratulations to
It's always a big
group.
ceremony. The ceremony takes place right by Statue of Liberty, by Ellis Island, and you go by boat over there, and it's only special invitees, and it's a very beautiful ceremony that takes place. Many Indian Americans, I think from New York, New Jersey area, that the local ones that I know, they have received this Ellis Island Medal of Honor.
Oh, great!
Yeah,
that's awesome.
exactly.
All right, so. We are going to, after the break, we'll be talking about some more community stories as well as some fun entertainment and event stories.
Can't wait for those.
Yep. So after the break, we'll be right back on Eye on South Asia.
Eye on South Asia is brought to you by Wells Fargo. Wells Fargo, together we'll go far.